our series Watching Your Wallet, we've told you about scam artists and economic criminals who prey on your money.
But the problem isn't limited to individual fraudsters. Investigative reporter David Hammer found big financial institutions can take advantage of you too. David joins us now. David.
Tana, Natalie, Katie Moore and I have been collecting and analyzing the most comprehensive consumer complaint data in the state and found more than 1,000 Louisiana homeowners have filed formal complaints against mortgage companies in the last 5 years. Some of them allege the banks are committing fraud, trying to take away their most important possession, their home.
The customer service nightmare. We've all been there before.
Thank you for calling customer service hotline. How may I help you?
Whatever you tell them, they just don't hear it. Because they think, well, they're not on my level.
This nightmare gets really scary when the complaining customer is a homeowner and the service he's complaining about is his home mortgage.
They don't care about people. They care about green. and you know, they don't care who they hurt.
Marcus Green knows firsthand. Hurricane Katrina destroyed his New Orleans East home, but he used his flood insurance money to rebuild. Through all that, he never missed a mortgage payment, almost $1,000 every month. But in 2007, his lender, J.P. Morgan Chase, suddenly increased his escrow fees, first tacking on additional flood insurance, then charging him for an erroneous property tax bill. Phone records and dozens of letters show Green trying desperately to fix the issues over several years.
Oh, it was to the point where I didn't do anything but stay on the phone with them.
A proud retired Marine, Green didn't want to back down, but he also kept paying Chase what he thought they wanted, over $1,000 every month. But Chase considered them partial payments, and eventually Chase stopped accepting Green's payments entirely. In 2011, the bank foreclosed on Green's home.
They said, oh yeah, we're gonna get this house. I said, you gonna get this house? They said, yeah, we're gonna get this. I said, well, is there anything that I can do? I said, well, is there anybody I can talk to? They say, no.
Green has stayed in his home by suing Chase and alleging fraud, and he's far from alone. State and federal courts are full of disputed foreclosure cases. Banks often end up settling these claims, wiping away the debt and paying the homeowner cash. But they also require them to sign non-disclosure agreements to keep the details quiet. That's why this man needed his identity hidden.
They foreclosed on me even though all my monthly payments were being made.
Like so many other loans, his was sold to a different bank, which then changed his payment terms without his consent.
My credit plummeted from a 800 to a 300. It was horrific pain. I mean, for years you would wonder whether or not the civil sheriff was going to show up that day to remove all your things out of your house.
He took the bank to court, but before his case could go to trial, the bank settled, dropped the foreclosure, and agreed to pay him hundreds of thousands of dollars. In 2011, a staggering 1 in every 45 homes nationally were in some stage of foreclosure. In Louisiana, the problem wasn't as bad, but the rate got as high as 1 in 100 homes in foreclosure. Congress responded with new federal consumer protections, but Atlanta-based foreclosure defense lawyer Stephen Bernstein says Louisiana laws are still slanted against borrowers.
The laws in Louisiana are very antiquated, they're very ambiguous, and leaves a lot of room for the banks to file fraudulent papers before the court.
Mortgage disputes in Louisiana are the third most common complaint to the Federal Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, trailing only credit reporting and debt collection. There are more mortgage complaints to the CFPB than every other kind of loan and credit card complaint combined.
It's where we spend a great deal of our time.
CFPB Interim Director Mick Mulvaney and his staff issued a $1 billion fine against Wells Fargo for its mortgage abuses earlier this year. Wells Fargo is the #1 target of mortgage complaints in the state. Chase is third.
The folks who will scam you will go to every length to scam you, and that could be somebody who's just operating out of their basement. That could be somebody operating at a major financial corporation. There's bad people out there, and to the extent we catch them, we're going to bring them to justice.
But when he was in Congress, Mulvaney famously tried to destroy the bureau he now oversees for the Trump administration. The mortgage industry openly cheers for him to erase CFPB's regulatory powers. And he has recommended some changes to CFPB to Congress.
So as long as we're going to exist, I think we need to be the best bureau that we can.
A federal program launched after the bank bailout to get lenders to do loan modifications instead of foreclosing expired in 2016. And now data show a third of all Louisiana mortgage complaints are focused on those loan modifications. Bernstein believes lenders have been emboldened to go back to some of the fraudulent practices captured in the 2015 film, The Big Short.
That's not stupidity, that's fraud.
And I can assure you, whatever happened in The Big Short is alive and well in The Big Easy.
That's why these folks say you should protect yourself whenever you deal with your mortgage lender.
Make sure you document every conversation, find out who you're speaking with, date, time, because all these conversations are recorded.
Every case needs to go to court, and they need to be exposed.
Now, as you can see, Green is dug in for a court fight. Chase said it has tried to work with him to settle his claim, and he's not been willing to do so.
Well, David, is there a way for homeowners to know which companies have the most complaints?
Yeah, we've put together a list and actually a search engine on our website. They can search a database of complaints to the Louisiana Attorney General's Consumer Protection Division. You can go to wwltv.com and you can search by industry, company, zip code, location, all of that.
Yeah, it's fascinating, especially when people's homes are at stake. All right, thank you, David.
Get my shoes and out the door. 5, I'm alive. 6, 7, 8, feeling great. 9, gonna shine, life is good. I'm doing fine. 10, gonna do it right and do it again, yeah. I look into the sky with all the beautiful color, but there's more than just for me, so gonna share it with another. I got to show, to give, let out. I want to sing and shout. Take a look and see a beautiful morning that turns into a beautiful